So let's start today with microservices introduction, right? So always introduction always start with what is that. So for that sense, let's start what is microservice. Okay. So let me define the microservices with in terms of keywords or key attributes of microservices here. So the first key attribute I always mention is that microservices are like Lego blocks. Let me explain you a little bit. Just as you build different things by combining a small Lego blocks, microservices let you build application by combining a small independent services. Let me repeat, just as you build different things by combining all small Lego blocks together, similarly, microservices let you build application by combining all these small independent services together to achieve the complete big applications, all features and services, right? Each service is focused. The second key attribute I always mention that each service is focused. What does it mean? Let me explain you. Every microservice does one specific things. Think of it like a tool in toolbox where each tool has a unique job. Okay, let's move on. The third key attribute I always mention, services work together. Let me explain you. So all these services in microservices talk to each other using simple methods like web request. Let me put one analogy here to explain you what is this web request. Let's say you feel hungry and you just open the Zomato app and want to order some food through the Zomato app. So you are opening the app, you are selecting particular restaurant in your locality and then particular dishes which you like, and then after all these things, you just submitting the request. Eventually this request through the web request, web API and so on and so forth, it went to the portal where your restaurant owner or restaurant person will get the order about your request and they will serve. This is simple, a web request, right? Let's move to the next, which is independence, right? Independence is a key here. This is the next attribute I always mention for microservices. Let me explain you with a small sentence. Each microservice is independent. This means you can change one service without mashing, without disturbing other services, right? Just take one analogy here. Suppose you want to change or replace your battery in TV remote. Do I need to do anything with the TV? It's a set? Of course not, right? Because TV remote is a separate service or separate component or separate part in complete TV ecosystem. So the similar fashion, similar analogy is applied here also. Like every component or every services in microservices are independent to each other. They don't disturb one to other, right? So they are not directly disturbing. If you need service X to be modified, Y should not be get any impact on that scenario, right? That is what I am understanding here. Okay. Now next key feature here is different language and technologies. Let me explain you in some simple word. So in this microservice architecture, you can use different programming languages or technologies for different services. Just like, suppose, I'm just putting one analogy again. Suppose you want to build one complete model. Model is combined with different parts, right? So definitely you have a liberty to choose materials for each parts independently, right? You don't have to make every parts with the same materials. There is no such constraint in making model. In the same analogy, here also in microservices, each services can use their own choice of language and technologies. There is no interdependency at all, right? The next point is easy to update and maintain. Since services are small and independent, it is easier to update and fix them. It is like repairing a bike's flat tire without having to disassemble the whole bike, right? The same analogy applied here also. The next attribute, which is very important, is scale what you need. Let me explain you. If one part of your app gets really popular, okay, you can improve just that part without having to change the everything. Let me explain you with one analogy here is like, suppose you are working in some mall getting very busy because of the counter is less. Okay. So your mall becomes or your shop becomes very crowded because of limited number of payments counter, right? In that case, what you will do to enhance the service. You just add more cashier or more counter, right? So that people will get more choices to select the counter, which will efficiently optimize the your experience with the counter. Okay. So that same analogy here also you can think, right? Okay. So you are easily update one part without disturbing the other parts. You don't, I mean, you only need to scale that part which is required to scale, not, you don't need to scale every other things, right? So that is what scale what you need says. And the next key attribute is faster deployment. So since each independent services are a smaller unit, so small services are quicker to develop and deploy, which means new feature addition or updation is very easy and independent to each other, which gives very faster deployment in comparison to the complete app deployment, right? So that's why this is a very good feature. These are the key features of microservices, and using these key features, you can explain what is microservice. I hope you are getting sense today to understand the microservices in simple and understandable terms. Thank you for listening me. See you in the next videos. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for completing this video. And I hope that you definitely have learned something which will help you in your system design interview. Hope to see you in next video with new concept and skills needed for the system design interview. By then, keep learning, keep improving, and keep sharing your knowledge.